So I'm going to ignore the stop. Well then, never mind. There was no stop in Zurich. But yeah. We boarded the Orient Express at 1825 from Gare de Paris Est. We have a whole bunch of choices. And again, we're gonna see many of these choices, so... Oh, this is not Hearts of Iron TARDIS. I mean, Discord demanded something different from Hearts of Iron, and quite frankly, so I kind of wanted something different. And hence we're going on 80 days, a steampunk journey through the Jules Verne novels, essentially. We've only just begun, we're only just leaving Paris. It is basically a visual novel, so there's going to be a lot of reading, and I'm going to try to speak clearly and slowly, instead of just blurting out words the way I usually do. Which is why I wanted to play this game, just to lower my heart rate, because I know the next game is going to be Command and Conquer, probably on Saturday, and that's going to keep me... probably gonna make me somewhat agitated. Anyways, we boarded the Orient Express at 1825 from Gare de Paris Est. The train would be the first leg of a much longer journey. However, so there was little use in growing too comfortable. Indeed, it could only take us as far as Bucharest. At long last, a last long whistle blew and we began our journey east. So we can wait or we can converse. Let's talk to the conductor this time around. The guard of the train. Begin a conversation about Munich. Tell us about Munich. Munich is doing very well these days, I hear. I want to connect to Venice if I can, so we'll ask about that route. They believe so. Okay, good. I can be reached from Munich by private car. Now, the Orient Express is a fine train, is it not? Indeed. The very finest. I'm proud to serve aboard her, let me tell you. And let's talk about Venice. What can you tell me about Venice? Apparently you can pick up carnival masks in Venice. That'll sell for a fortune in Bucharest. It's difficult to head to Bucharest from there, though. Let's see, what other options do we have? Venice to Nice, Zurich, Dubrovnik is on the way. You can buy wax cylinders inscribed with music in Dubrovnik, valuable in Odessa. Well, that's nice and all, but I need to actually get to Egypt. Venice to Luxor. Excuse me, I must go now. Well, that's all the information we could get. Yeah, TARDIS, you know, finances are always an issue. I don't think you can do it the same way as they do it in this game, I suppose, by buying and selling things on the way. Quite frankly, this is kind of the first Interrail Express, isn't it? Because they start with an amount of funds, but not enough money to actually go around the world. So a Passepartout here has to make money along the route. Sell one of your kidneys in Serbia, yeah, you know, things like that. I don't think Passepartout goes quite that far. There wasn't so many organ transplants in the 1872, so... Anyways, we got some information. At least we got the one new route to Venice. My master wished to be undisturbed, so as we left Paris, I left him and went to explore the train. You can do a lot of these choices here. And they're more about being a dependable servant instead of versus getting information, you know. So you'll have some choices back and forth here on how you want to proceed. Again, you can't actually see the health number of fog. It's down, you know, behind my chair there. It is at 100 hearts. Actually, maybe I should move my camera for this. Just for this, I didn't actually think about this. Where is that again? Hopefully this will work and not crash the game. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Maybe I don't mess with it, actually. Not during stream, sorry. But yeah, it's only going to be at... It's going to be at 100% health virtually the entire time. He'll only lose health if you take some of the more hazardous routes. Which is another thing, by the way. If you travel by car or horse or stuff like that, his health is going to go down slightly. Or if you choose some of the more extreme paths, like across the North Pole, which is also a potential, by the way. But we can't do that in the first game. Anyways, I left him and I went to explore the train. There was a delightful dining car and an observation deck formed by the replacement of an entire compartment with an open glass cube. I attended the dining car and found a few groups of people talking quietly. I eavesdropped shamelessly, overhearing a conversation between a young composer and two Parisian ladies who, it transpired, were heading to the same concert in Vienna. I continued to listen, curious for details about that city. Never mind all that. Where's the bar? I don't know if they have a bar on this in the text. You can get smashing drunk, though. I think that if you know the novel, you know that Passepartout had a bit of an incident in Shanghai, and you can have that incident in this game too. I continued to listen, curious for details about that city. My papa says it is very dangerous, remarked one girl, whose name I learned was Isobel Poitiers. He says the emperor is spoiling for war. I continued to listen to the youngsters, but their chatter turned to matters of hats, and though I am a valet, but there are some aspects of my task I find truly tedious. So I left them to their talk, and I returned to Monsieur Fogg, who, to my surprise, looked up from his paper at me. "What did you learn?" he inquired. I told him of the rumblings of war from Vienna, but he seemed indifferent. "I do not think war will break out by the day after tomorrow," he observed, "so I think we will be safe." I had nothing more to say. We arrived in Munich a few hours later. So, part of this whole thing, all this information stuff gathering, is because that unlocks options in some of the cities further along the way. So that's why I wanted to explore the venue in Paris, because that kind of gives you some information about what's going on in the world. That exposition mentioned, well, the potential of war in Austria-Hungary, which you can interact with, by the way, in quite a few different ways, if you have the right conversational pieces. And you also got some information about the various airships and stuff like that, so yeah. Anyways, again, once we're in a city, the clock will start ticking immediately, so I'll have to do some quick actions. Because I want to go down to Venice. So, the market is closed, we arrived at 10 p.m. But I can plan. Okay, so let's plan. I want to go to Venice, departs tomorrow. That's a private car. It will reduce health. So the nice thing about the Orient Express is that it's gonna be, you know, very comfortable. So I can go to Venice at 4 p.m. Or we can go to Vienna. Except we don't have a route. Yeah. So even though we knew there was a train route from Paris to Budapest earlier, we don't know the same route from Munich. So we'll have to investigate Munich tomorrow to learn about the new routes. But I still think I want to go roughly down. I think we want to go to Venice and depart from there. That's the one route we know about now. which we can't do tonight. We have to do that tomorrow. And have to go and sleep soon, or Pog will be kind of cranky. Yeah, because you're gonna fall asleep at the steps of a building if you don't, you know, seek a hotel. Anyways, the Franco-Prussian War had concluded but a year previously. Thus I flaunted my French accent. No. Thus my French accent was a disadvantage. We are in Germany now, after all. During our short time in Munich. The concierge of our hotel was most suspicious when I approached the desk. I did not care for politics. A French accent is always a disadvantage? Maybe so. I did not care for politics. We'll try to stay above the fray. Myself. What was the enmity of nations to me? So I suggested to the man that he might be equally considerate, you know. Be a bit prickly. He slid from my accusations like a fish from a hook. You are a valet, he said. I'm a concierge. We both work for your English gentleman. I left the idiot to his hair oil. Nah. Again, you can take some really jerkish choices, which will affect everything, of course. But anyways, then let me tell you what my gentleman requires, or needs, I replied, sensing this feeble creature could be utilized. We are, let's see, we have some options now. So you have one choice. I think that's just gonna make him more groomed. Just keep his health up. But we're gonna go for the efficiency thing, I think. We are traveling as fast as possible around the world. We need to know about connections. We have the best drivers in the world, the concierge replied. The roads are good, and you will encounter no difficulties. And beyond Munich? He shrugged. You will be well served in Berlin, he replied. The rest of the world, I would not venture there myself. We are going to explore, that's going to give us stories about Munich or new routes. In this case, we got one new route northwards and some story. And there was little daylight in Munich. The sky was shrouded in steam and oil fumes from the tractors and hydraulic excavators in the streets. A place of industry then, whose citizens wore dark cloaks to protect their finery from the soot. I brushed a few specks of dirt from my collar, in horror or, you know, absent-mindedly. Far more intrigued by the gleaming machines remaking the city's skyline. Rumor had it that this work was the doing of the Bavarian king, who had become obsessed with steam power and was spending an exorbitant sum on imported machinery and engineering works. The Kingdom of Bavaria had recently joined the German Empire. It appeared that the king suddenly had much more time on his aristocratic hands. I think we are talking about the same Bavarian king that made Castle Neuschwanstein. You know, the castle that the Disney castle is modeled upon. I think that's the same guy. Power and free time are a most potent and dangerous combination, as our journey, I fear, proves. Yay. Fine. Go to the market. We can't depart until 4 PM anyways. We have a stopwatch, valuable in Budapest, Minsk and Rome. We're not going that path. A Brazilian snuff, some dominoes, or a Stetson hat. Ernest and Prim. So you have items, you can trade them for information, basically. And you can make various sets. We're not going to go through Minsk. Let's buy some Dominoes. Fine. Buy Dominoes. Uh-huh. How to exit the market again? There. Yeah. Depart to Venice. That departs at 4 p.m. So we have to make sure that I can actually go before 4 p.m. Embark the Bozek car. The open road, and that is going to be a bit hazardous. Now I do have a driving cap, so the health loss isn't going to be as severe. Here we go. Humping along with a Bozek car. It tells us what we're driving to. But yeah, there are many different locations you can travel to here. Each city will have roughly the same story every single time. But the connections make it kind of iffy. I mean, there's a whole storyline if you go the Trans-Siberian Express, for example. And there's another storyline if you go down the coast of Africa, and stuff like that. So anyways, we hired a private driver with an oil-guzzling Bozek car, who took off at high speed once we were aboard. I mean, you can skip everything all the time by choices like this, but no. It appeared to be reinforced with metal strips and brackets that looked a lot like parts from broken farm equipment. The driver himself had haymaker hands that suggested he had not long ago been a laborer on the land. I asked him about himself as we drove, but he replied in monosyllables, so our conversation degenerated into a guessing game. Was he married? Yes, his wife was called Hildy. Okay. Evening, Kebzero. And thank you for that. I can't do voices the way other people can, so I'm not gonna try. But that's why I picked this game anyways. I want to try to see if I can speak and just speak slowly and clearly for once, rather than just gush out words and lose my train of thought mid-sentence. That's why I chose this game tonight. Anyways, that's a lot of choices. Did they like Venice? Yes, it was very beautiful, especially at night. Had he designed the car himself? No, it was a Bozek design by Bozek, of course. I exhausted him. We fell silent, but for the sputtering and spurting of the engine as it exploded rhythmically beneath us. Okay. So, we can converse still. With Fogg. Yeah, that's the other thing. I'm at your service, Monsieur Fogg. Let's talk about our journey. How's our progress? Day 3, I believe. Early days. It is indeed day 3. Let's talk about our money. And this journey will be most expensive, monsieur. Indeed, but we can earn a little by buying and selling our possessions as we travel. Very good. Now, those talks with Fogg does give you the opportunity to brush up his health, so to speak. Basically, if he falls in, I almost say disrepair. That's not really the word. You know, if he falls into if he's not as prim anymore, you know, pressed suit, trimmed moustache, all that kind of thing, that's your tasks. So that is included in his health, which again you can't see because it's beneath my chair. I'm sorry about that. I did not think about moving that. But there's only really gonna be one case, one scenario where his health is gonna plummet, and we'll get to that. Anyways, by midday we had crested the mountains, and our journey down was almost steam-free. I relished the fresh air, and I could see my master did as well. And then there was the Adriatic Sea, sparkling as though encrusted with jewels. Thoughts of grimy London flew from my head. This was the life. In short, the car did not explode, and we were rowed across the gulf to the city of canals. The lamps were just being lit, and we lost ourselves in the narrow winding alleys enjoying the smells of grilling fish and red wine, and the sparkle of glass from shop windows. This was a pretty place we had arrived in indeed. And here we go, yellow text. Your relationship with Fogg has improved because, you know, this is kind of important to keep him happy. And that's gonna affect your evaluation at the end of the journey, by the way. Here we go, with Bozak cars into Venice. Yeah, and his health went down. It actually blinked a bit, but you can't see it. Let's go to a hotel, because otherwise we will be sleeping on the steps. And for some reason, that takes a toll on people's health. And sleeping in a nice hotel restored his health. We're back to 99 health, so... I was walking along a canal side in Venice when I find myself in the midst of a group of revelers. They wore a fabulous array of masks, some beak-nosed, others brightly feathered, and even some spun of fine glittering wire. I bowed in greeting, and gave them such a surprise that one tripped, turned, and then tumbled into the canal. Her friends seemed drunkenly unconcerned, and fell about in pealing laughter as the woman cursed and thrashed in the dark water. I dove to the rescue, reaching her in a few strokes. Zut alors, the water was cold. She kicked and fought as I hauled her to a nearby flight of steps. Fiammetta is a daughter of the canal, one of her friends put in. You should have left her in it. Another drunken youth agreed. It's the only time she bathes. Fiammetta coughed and choked as I hauled her from the water. I averted my eyes tactfully. I mean, this is Victorian era. For her sodden clothing was immodestly plastered to her skin. Evening, Luca. What's this game about? This game is basically it's based on Jules Verne's 80 Days Around the World and other novels of his. It's a steampunk setting, and you play as Passepartout. You're tasked with just managing the journey for Fogg around the world. And how you do that is up to you. There are tons of cities on the map, and you can go in many, many directions. And change of hats, eh? Well, I guess we are in Venice, and we are going to be using boats from here on, so... I don't think we'll have a choice. Let's go with the captain's hat. But it's essentially an interactive novel. So, anyways. I averted my eyes tactfully, for her sodden clothing was immodestly plastered to her skin. Who are you? She demanded, seeming to see me for the first time. Her friends made various kissing noises and suggested a variety of improbable roles for me. A clown, one said. No, another interjected. An agent of the Pope. Yet another added sotto voce. Fiammetta's foreign lover, which caused them all to laugh as Fiammetta cursed them with admirable thoroughness. I introduced myself with a bow. The effect only a little ruined by the dripping. Passepartout, at your service. And what manner of creature are you, Signor Passepartout? She demanded. I am a valet. And what is that? Some sort of policeman? She asked. No wonder you throw yourself into canals after innocent citizens. Her friends laughed, and I bristled. Farewell, mademoiselle. Do not worry yourself, for I shall, she replied, with a wide, unfriendly smile. And so I slipped back to Monsieur Fogg as the revelers opened another bottle of wine to appease their canal-sodden friend. So yeah, each city will have a little bit of a story, and of course, as you see, there are options we can take, which will affect how the story goes, any skill ups you get, you're going to be more dependable or more independable, and of course, it's also going to affect your relationship with Fogg, because he tends to bristle if you behave in a non-English manner, and you are French after all, so yeah. But we're trying to take the high road here, so Actually, I kind of expected that our rating would go down because we jumped into the canal. That's very impulsive, you know? It's not stiff upper lip kind of behavior. Anyways. It is still very, very early. Let's explore Venice. That gives us some information about routes. Oh my goodness. That's a lot of routes. I was waiting my turn at a gondola rank near the Rialto Bridge when a gondolier from across the canal waved frantically to catch my attention. Monsieur, I will take you. Oh no. I recognized that voice. Mon Dieu, it was the very woman I had pulled from the canal the night before. I waved her over. Having tired of waiting in line, she made a sharp turn through the water, earning the ire of several other boatmen who had to swerve to avoid her. Fiammetta, the boating agent who ran the rank, shook his fist in her direction. Leave my customers alone. You deserve no customers, Zorzi, Fiammetta shouted back, ignoring me entirely. Was it possible she did not remember me? Those creatures of yours are not gondoliers. They know nothing of the soul of Venice. I did not understand her meaning. Until I appeared at one of the gondolas in the rank. Parbleu, the oarsmen at the stern were machines. Ah, here we go. Flirting with the boatwoman? Yeah, perfect time for the hat. Quite right. The oarsmen at the stern were machines. Of fearsome inhumanity. Let's see if we can endear ourselves to the boatwoman. Their faces were covered by feathered carnival masks, and their hands tapered into oars. Signore, my automation gondoliers are the pride of Venice, Zorzi insisted breathlessly as he reached me. They are guaranteed safe by the Scuola, our local artificers guild. Fiammetta here is a troublemaker. From the water, Fiammetta called, I am a true gondolier. I nodded, and stepped, and again we have a choice, into Fiammetta's gondola. Sure. I prefer people to machines, I told Zorzi with a shrug. Fiammetta gave him a perfectly executed mocking curtsy as he pulled away. No mean feat while also holding an oar and balancing on the prow of the low craft. Zorzi supported the Risorgimento, the Italian unification, Fiammetta told me, as she pushed us forward. Now he is a bootlicker of the Scuola and dabbles in their infernal mechanicals. You fell into the canal last night. Let's not harp on that. Why do you hate automata? I asked curiously. I do not hate them. I fear them. They are soulless. The Pope has declared them abominations, and yet they roam the streets and canals of Venice. Do continue. She took a deep breath. It is an open secret that the Scuola run Italy, in all but name. The king is their puppet. We are a kingdom run by artificers. I think she will be offended. She sounds like a very much... sounds very Catholic. Well, we will encounter the artificers in quite a few countries, as they said on the... back in Paris, when we visited the World's Fair there. The artificers are everywhere. Then they're not good or bad, really. But they're kind of neutral, and they can be taken in both directions. Anyways, it is terrible, I exclaimed. Directly influencing governance was against the artificer's creed, but it seemed that the Scuola had some revolutionary ideas of its own. The gondola slid onward. I listened as Fiammetta raged against her Scuola. The Scuola has money and power and infernal devices. They are an impossible enemy. She gave me a sharp look before tugging a length of grey and red braid from her cap and handing it to me. But there are those who fight still. The Zouave of Rome will never surrender to the Scuola. Perhaps, my friend, you are one of us. Oh, we are becoming a revolutionary or something. Basically, this hints at something about this braid and Rome, obviously. I will say this, it's been at least 3 years, I think, since I played this game, so I don't remember all the adventures and everything. So I'm kind of fumbling blindly around here. We'll take the braid, though. I took the braid and nodded. She smiled and gave me a small, sincere salute. We lapsed into silence. We rode past palazzos and Gothic churches, each more grand than the last. Fiammetta giving me a potted history of Venice in her own idiosyncratic style. It seemed the foundations were being fitted with water pumps to push water downwards and thereby lift the city up. The scuola will make Venice into a ship, Fiammetta told me. No doubt they will sail it around the world to make war. I did not like the thought of a city of artificers who had broken from the guild's credo, roaming free about the world. Okay, we can now visit the market. Do so. We got the Zouave braid. A grey and red braid mark of the Zouave Italian rebels. Carnival masks are valued in Bucharest. That's not where we're headed, though. We already have some crackers. Let's buy a Stetson hat. Now we have 2 suitcases. Hopefully this will be okay. See, let's visit. Let's depart. Oh, we can't travel to Athens. In 4 days. We can also negotiate and try to alter the departure. 5 p.m. tomorrow, down to Rome. A public carriage. Or we can travel to Dubrovnik by Bozek car. Oh, never mind, that just closed. Again, that's what I mentioned, that everything has to be done quickly or time will pass. Do we visit Rome tomorrow then? Let's negotiate. The driving cap changed the state minds. Okay, fine. Can grease the wheels. Yeah, sure. There we go. Let's go to Rome. It's gonna be uncomfortable, but that's fine.